Have you ever felt like no matter how hard you work, you just can't seem to get ahead financially? Now, I've got news for you. It's not just you. People do feel like this. Many people feel like this. It's not in your head. And there are several reasons why it might feel like the financial system is stacked against you, and none of them are your fault. Income inequality is probably one of the biggest challenges we face in modern times, this idea that the rich have more, the poor have less. And I don't think if you go through history, you'll ever find a period where the gap between the rich and the poor has grown as wide and as quickly as, say, in the last 10 years or so. And here's a couple of data points I want to share with you just to kind of bring this home. So in the UK, the top 20% of households earn 36% of the total disposable income, whereas the bottom 20% earn just 8% of total disposable income. Here's another one for you. The richest 10% of households have an income that is at least 4 times that of the poorest 10%. So in other words, if you look at it from a weekly earnings, the highest 10% of earners in the UK have a weekly earnings of at least £1,200 a week, whereas the bottom 10% have an earnings of around about £300 a week. It's pretty crazy when you look at those numbers and the disparity between the two. And this facilitates even further this income inequality that we're seeing in this country. We've all been through this, and I don't think this needs explaining, but over the past couple of years, we've witnessed energy prices, food prices, fuel prices, everything increase. Wages haven't necessarily kept up. And you probably feel as though you're being squeezed from an income point of view, as though you're going to work, but it doesn't feel like you can lead a life that is enjoyable, that makes you feel fulfilled. You may feel as though you can't afford even just a holiday once a year, let alone have the ability to plan for the future, retirement, investing, even think about purchasing your home for the first time and acquiring an asset to help you build wealth. If you feel that way, I can't say that I blame you. Now, the crazy thing is, if you have income inequality and a higher cost of living, the two things work together to push you into a debt trap. And those are things like credit cards, overdraft, personal loans, things that will be classed as toxic or bad debt that ultimately do nothing to help you build for the future. And it's very easy to fall into this trap, so much harder to get out of it. And once you're in it, and I can speak about this from experience, it feels like you can never get out unless you have a concrete plan. And in this conversation of why does it feel like the financial system is stacked against us? Well, those two things are working in cahoots to get you into this trap right here. And don't even get me started on the fact that financial services products are more complicated than they need to be, because at the heart of everything, well, it should be that simple. And unfortunately, we don't get taught any of this in school. In the US, the real median household income has fallen 2.3% from $76,330 to $74,580 a year in 2022. This decline is part of a broader pattern of income stagnation for middle-income households. Meanwhile, the wealthiest 1% of Americans now earn over 20% of all national income. This concentration has increased significantly, with the top bracket incomes recovering much faster from economic downturns compared to the lower income groups. In reality, both the US and the United Kingdom have seen their middle classes shrink due to income stagnation, rising living costs, job market changes, wealth inequality, and economic policies that favor the wealthy. Addressing these challenges requires comprehensive policy measures aimed at boosting income growth, reducing living costs, and ensuring more equitable distribution of wealth and resources. So let's talk about the things that you can do that are within your realms of control to kind of counteract this feeling that everything's set up against you. And the first thing I'm going to talk about is the most important, and that's mindset. Mindset is crucial. Whether you're in a professional setting, personal setting, business setting, your mindset is absolutely crucial. If you give up, you're not going to succeed. So having and cultivating the mindset that you can exceed, that you can kind of compete in the system, is going to be absolutely crucial moving forward. So mindset is key. The second thing that I want to impart on you is this. We've spoken about the fact that we have income inequality, higher cost of living. Sometimes it's easier to go out and actually earn more money, increase your income earning potential, than to actually budget from a ever diminishing pot of money. And so invest in yourself to gather new skills, new knowledge bases, things that you can utilize that can effectively go into perhaps side hustles or a new career, whatever it might be. Earning more money is going to be pivotal and important for a lot of people moving forward, because if you want to buy a home, I'm in London right now, in the Intercontinental at the O2. It's expensive in London. I've lived in London, I know what it's like. Oftentimes you're going to need to earn more money. So invest in yourself with the view to actually earn more money. And underneath all of that, you also have to remember that you absolutely have to have good financial structures underneath it. So budgeting effectively. You can earn £10,000 a month and still be broke if you're spending it all. So making sure you have good financial management that sits underneath it, absolutely crucial. Making sure that you have some kind of financial protection and structure around you so that you're not going to be relying on that debt trap that we spoke about a little bit earlier on. You know, try to reduce your reliance on things like credit cards, overdrafts, personal loans, those kind of toxic debts that will only do you worse, really, because you've got to pay that payment out. It's money that you're not investing in yourself or investing into the markets. And worse than that, you're paying an interest rate as well. So it's diminishing returns when you think about that. And also just make sure that when it comes to debt, that you're very intentional with what you use. Again, credit cards, overdrafts are the worst. Things like mortgages, business loans, those kind of things, if you're going to put it into a tangible business, will be good things. So those are just a few things that I think will be helpful for you to perhaps do a little bit of further research on, because you're not helpless in this equation. And I refuse to believe that you are helpless and we are helpless in this equation, because we're not. We have all the capabilities, all the power within us to be able to change our circumstances. And all it takes is a little bit of courage to take that first step. And once you've taken that first step, you're on the road to success. Catch you later on.